Hi everybody, welcome back to Bobby's Bucks, and I'm going to talk scouting today. When you're hunting a new property, I've been hunting public land for about 20 years now. I love hunting public land. I love it so much that I moved my family here so we can hunt the Rose Lake Research Center, which is 4,100 acres of public land. And I scout about 100 new acres every year. And some people call me crazy. My buddies, they hunt the public land too, and they got their spots. They really try to. They understand it's public land and it's open to the public, but they still have their traditional spots. And there's ways to kind of hold on to spots legally without being a jerk, and we'll talk about that in another video. Right now behind me, we're back here in the fruit trees, and we're tying the branches down because you get more fruit when the branches are horizontal. It takes about 2 months for these branches. If you want to see how we prune some trees, I'll put a video up in the corner how we go about that. Fruit trees are just an awesome addition to any hunting property. We have about 23 or 24 on this property. Big advocate of fruit trees, but today we're going to talk about scouting. And DNR works really hard at habitat improvement, and they're planting and crop rotating all these different fields. They have some prime whitetail property. I try to hunt 100 new acres every year. For 20 years I've been doing that. I'm only half done with this humongous parcel. And I've got so many good spots, and I want to talk about how I really go about that. And the reason why I do that is because public land, being open to the public, there's a lot of different hunters out there. And I hear stuff about how the sport is dying. Man, it doesn't seem like that here in Michigan. At least bow hunting, because the bow hunters are just, there's more and more every year. And just when I think I'm alone, some young guy comes through there and goes, "Hey, how you doing? This is a good spot." But why I'm so crazy about it is because I see such good deer on public land. And I see a lot of deer, and it's because I'm getting in there into these certain spots after looking at my aerial photographs. This is how I go about it. Okay, I'll say this spot is one area I haven't seen yet, and I'll pick and designate an area to hunt for the season. And I've already did that this year. It's mid-March, and all my scouting's done, so that's why I kind of want to talk about it. So normally some people will go in there with a bag of corn, put a trail camera up, and try to kind of do a survey of, and that works for some deer. It's a lot of work to do it that way. You got to go back out there, get your pictures, unless you got a satellite photograph. But still, it's illegal to be baiting here in Michigan, so we can't really do that. But private land's different. Do what you want on private land. But a lot of people walk the perimeter. I'm not really concerned with the perimeter, only because it's close to the road, and I'm trying to get away from hunters. I'm not just hunting deer, but I'm hunting away from other hunters. I'm trying to avoid them. I'm trying to go in early. I'm trying to leave late. I want to be a ghost out there. Not that I'm antisocial. I love to talk deer hunting with other hunters, but I don't want them to know or see where I'm at, because I tell you, I've ran into different situations where I've talked to somebody about this or that, and in the next day they're there, big smile on their face. "You told me this was a good place," and so it's kind of like one of those things, like good fishing spots. You don't want to give away all your good spots. And I've made the mistake of taking a buddy out there before, and it's kind of like cutting the line. You're taking them to the front of the line, and then all of a sudden they bring a buddy out, and then I have to move on, and it's just, deer hunting is one of those things where it gets people so excited that it makes them act funny. If you hike in over 300 yards, that's pretty much the average hunter only goes in about 300 yards. So if you can find out where the middle of the parcel is, because pretty soon if you're going too far in, you're on your way out to the road. Most of these parcels are square or rectangle, unless you got a different area cut up because of private landowners. But I will figure it all out looking at the aerial photograph. I can see, okay, this looks like cattails or thickets. This looks like a swamp or water. Using water, for one, you're gonna know the deer aren't gonna swim over the river, pond. In most cases, they're gonna walk around it. So that tells you where they're moving. You can see pinches in the woods. Deer don't want to walk out in the open unless it's nighttime. So if you see hoofs, if you see tracks in the middle of the field, most likely you're looking at nighttime movement. They're not going to walk out in the open because they want to live. So stick to investigating the thickest areas, the most secure areas. Even if you're looking through the woods and you're going through a saddle. I heard an old timer say, "You want to know where the deer are moving through the woods? Look at where the water would flow." They're gonna take the lowest spots. And I know some people would argue with me and say, "No, they're gonna be on the upper third of the hill. They're gonna be on the lower third." I would kind of lean towards the lower third or the bottom of the saddle, and that's how they're gonna move, because they want to stay hidden. So I'm going to stick to those kind of movements. You can look at a topography map, learn how to read a topography map. When the lines are close, that means it's really steep. When the lines are spread out, that means it's flat. And when you start to see that or know what you're looking at, it kind of comes into focus. So learn your topography maps, and you can look at that. You can look at your water sources, and you can kind of get a plan before you even step foot on the property. And then once you're there, you kind of have a bullet point list of where you want to go and investigate. You'll see tracks, you'll see rubs, you'll see scrapes, you'll see, even if it's old rubs, you'll see your lines and you'll see your movements. And you can get a good idea of where to ambush these deer. And when you're there, you can take notes. Sometimes I've even gone to an extent of printing out. I used to work at this place that had a really good printer, so we would print out these maps, and I would show up with a map, and we had a laminator, and I'd show up with these maps. I'd have my marker ready to take notes on this map, and but now you can do all that with your phone. You can pin locations, you can write little notes, and I recommend that too. Lots of apps, but we're not going to start plugging apps. But the deer are going to stick to the thickest, nastiest stuff, and I'm more interested in walking the perimeter of the thickest, nastiest stuff and looking for the exits and entrances than the entire parcel, because that's a lot more walking. And for my first few hunts, unless I got a real good idea or I find an apple tree or something, if I'm kind of going in there with just a little bit of information, I'll usually hunt really high in a ridge, in an area where I can observe and just kind of take my first opportunity to just hunt an observation stand. And you'll just continue to keep moving it and moving, and I usually hunt with a climber or a saddle. And that gives me the opportunity to, I don't want to set up too much too early because you're still learning the lay of the land. And if you keep at it, and you keep hunting the cold days, and you're not hunting all those hot days and every single day, because then all you're doing is just laying your scent down, and you're gonna move them. They're gonna adjust. So try to get in there and not cross the deer's path or whatever you're trying to hunt. You know, you're gonna get an idea and then come up with a plan. So I hope that helps somebody. I got a dog barking in the background. I got a plane flying over. Sorry about all this noise. So today was such a big day. It was 60 degrees. It's starting to cool down now. My fingers are getting cold. And we were in the bees, we were in the rabbits. Now I'm back here with the fruit trees, tying them down. So if anybody has any questions or comments, please share how you scout and things that you may do a little different. You know, I mean, you could put a trail camera up and drop corn if it's legal in your area, and you can kind of try to take inventory. But I'm a deer hunter that doesn't use any lures, any bait, because I don't want to lay down any kind of indication that I've been there. You know, and a lot of times you're feeding the young deer. You know, maybe the good deer will come in at night, but they'll never stop by during the day. And I like to get in there and kill the deer without even knowing that it was ever being hunted. So hope this video helps you. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I will answer everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. I'm gonna call my neighbor and tell him to